Hello guys, welcome back to Andrina's Creations. Welcome to my first YouTube class. I made a post on Facebook and here on YouTube if y'all was interested in me showing you how to make these 3D shaker cake topper, and of course all of you guys said yes. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Now disclaimer, this is a class, so this will be a lengthy video. I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to create these beautiful cake toppers. Now this one is over the top, but you can always make this smaller or less details. You can make them however you want. So I hope you guys enjoy this class, and let's get started. For your supplies, you're going to need printer of your choice. I have an EcoTank 16600. You do not need specifically an EcoTank. You just need a printer to print out your images. If you do not have a printer at home, you're gonna have to go somewhere else and print them somewhere else on your local printing shop. You're going to need a cutting machine. I know a lot of people's going to ask me, do I really need a cutting machine to make these cake toppers? If you want a layered cake topper, more than likely, yes, you are going to need a cutting machine because it's going to be a lot of work for you to be cutting by hand. I am going to be using Silhouette Studio. And I know another question is going to be, well, can I use Cricut Design Space? Of course you can. There's plenty of videos here on YouTube of other softwares, but today I'll be using my Cameo cutting machines and my Silhouette Studio software. For your cardstock, I'm going to be showing you what kind of cardstock I like, but you can use any cardstock of your choice. I am going to be using glitter cardstocks. You can find glitter cardstock anywhere, Michael's, Joann's. If you have a store called Tuesday Morning, check it out. They usually have a lot of good cardstock there. You can also buy cardstock online and on Amazon. So these are the cardstock that come like you buy them individually. And then you could also get the paper pads. Now there's no specific brand of what glitter cardstock I like. As long as it looks pretty, I get it. There's a lot of variety of glitter cardstock. I got this one at Joann's, and this is the brand DCWV. DCWV, I do love this brand because it is thick cardstock, and you're gonna hear me say this throughout the video. I really like thick cardstock. I don't like thin. If I'm using very thin cardstock, I will back it up with another cardstock in the back. So I got this one at Joann's. So whenever you see sales on cardstock, go ahead and purchase a lot of cardstock, because if you're going to be making a lot of paper crafting, you always need a variety of cardstock. So this one has a lot of pretty colors. This one was a hot buy from Michael's. This is a Joann brand. This is Park Lane. Now the Park Lane, I don't really like Park Lane glitter or their cardstock brand, just because theirs is very thin. So this glitter, I will back it up with something. It's like really thin like paper, but it's very pretty. You just gotta back it up. Now if you haven't been to your local Michael's, now they have a more variety of cardstock. So this is 8x11 65-pound foil cardstock. They're very pretty. They are kind of thin as well, but you just gotta have to back it up as well. You can if you want to, because it's not so how to explain it, it's between the thick and the thin, even though it says 65-pound, but it's not so flimsy. But they have a whole bunch of colors of this one, and this one's 8x11. I don't know if I said that, but you can use 12x12 and 8x11 cardstock. You can use 65-pound, 100-pound, 80-pound. It's totally up to you. Usually they have a whole bunch of sales of these variety packs. It comes 50 in a pack, and you could get the bigger pack. I think is 100 in a pack, and these are 65-pound, but they have a variety, and you could get them in multiple colors. All right, my favorite brand of cardstock is Basil brand. Is BAZZIL. That is my favorite brand of cardstock. You usually could get them in a pack on Amazon, createforless.com, and Joann's. Joann's do sell them individually, so you could just pick the variety colors that you would like. This is another variety pack of the Recollection brand. This is Michael's. Another brand that I've been using lately is Clear Path Paper. I get it from Amazon, but you can go directly to their website. But I do like Amazon because I do have Amazon Prime, and I get my stuff here in my house in 2 days. So this one's Clear Path. They have it in 65-pound and 100-pound. Now, depending on what I'm doing, I sometimes use 65 and sometimes I use 100-pound. I do a lot of paper crafting. Another great brand is Cardstock Warehouse. Again, you can go directly to their website, but I do get this one on Amazon, and this one's 12 by 12, 100 pound, 25 sheets in a pack. And if I'm not mistaken, this one is 50 sheets in the pack because it's less pounds. All right. Now, the only brand that I really like from Park Lane, from Joann's, it's the 110 pound white cardstock. I used to get, because it's really cheap, like it's 40 sheets for $10. So usually when I get the Basil brand, this is almost 79 cents to $1 per sheet when you buy them individually. But Park Lane 110 pound, I really recommend it. It's white and it's very thick. I use this one a lot. I always stack up. They used to have the black one. They still do have the black one, but Joann's recently switched to white core, as you can see here. White core means when you fold your cardstock, you're going to see white inside of the paper. I do not like that, so I stopped buying their black cardstock, and I no longer use the black cardstock from Park Lane. I use Cardstock Warehouse 100 pound black cardstock. All right. This one I got from Joann's. It's just a variety of gold and silver cardstocks. Now, the reason why I'm showing you all these cardstocks is because I'm not going to be using all these during the tutorial, but I know it's going to be a question asked. Well, what is your favorite cardstock? What kind of cardstock can we use? Use your imagination. The more, like what I said, the more colors, the more metallics, glitters, and different textures you use, it's going to look very good. You can also find variety packs of cardstocks. This one was 12 by 12 of different colors. Okay, I think that one's from Joann's. You can also use already decorative cardstock. So this one's Park Lane brand. Again, this is very thin, but if you back it up with something, it's going to become thicker. When I mean back it up, means that you're going to cut out a shape out of the decorative cardstock, and then you cut out the same shape of a solid color, and then you glue it in the back. But you can get decorative because you could it'll look cute. Just use your imagination. So anywhere you go, Michael's and Joann's, they do have variety packs, decorative paper pads. I'm just showing you some. I do have a lot of them. If you have watched my prior video on putting away all my cardstock, you already know I have a lot of cardstock. So you can also purchase embossed cardstock. Embossed means that it already has a texture on it. So this will make your items to stand out. If you own an embossing machine, you can use your embosser. But for those that do not own an embossing machine, you can find cardstock that's already embossed. This one's already all cut up, but if you see the texture. This one also is from Joann's, and it is Precision Cardstock Textured Solid Core. And when it means textured, if you could see the lines. And it's only textured on one side. And this is a variety pack. Okay. Okay, to print your images, you are going to decide, do you want the glossy look or the matte look? If you want matte, just use plain white cardstock. It doesn't matter, again, the pounds. I do recommend going up higher to 100 pound. If you can't find 100 pound cardstock in white, just use the 65 pound and then back it up, okay, with another cardstock. So plain white cardstock will be a matte look. And if you want the glossy look, you're going to pick a glossy paper of your choice. I've been experimenting with the Koala 66 pound paper, and I have been liking it so far. And y'all know I always show you this paper in all my tutorials. I really love this paper. This is the Office Depot 50 pound gloss 100 sheets, and it's compatible with laser and inkjet. That's another thing. Depending on the printer that you have at home, if it's inkjet or laser, you need to make sure that the paper you buy, it is compatible with your printer. Your acetate sheets, people call them clear film. I call them acetate sheets. I know you can find them on Michael's, but I usually buy them on Amazon. Now the difference between the 0.3 and the 0.5 is just that the 0.5 is thicker than the 0.3. I use them both. It is kind of expensive, but I do love this brand. And this is the clear film that you're going to use to see the embellishments shake all around. I have seen people use cellophane bags. I never tried that. I've seen people use the clear plastic when they get packages at home. I see people use that. I have never tried that route. You can use anything and try it out. What I do use is acetate sheets from the Acetate brand. Now let's talk about sequins. You're going to need sequins. That's the little parts that you see in the inside of the shakers. Where can you purchase sequins? You can purchase sequins from Dollar Tree. You can go to Party City. In Party City they're called in Party City they are called table scatters. So if you walk down the lines in Party City, every single theme of the party, let's say Batman, Ninja Turtles, whatever, they have their own party scatters, and then you can use those. Let me get a bag really quick of those. I said a bag, but as you can see, I have a whole collection. So some places call it confetti. This is a princess, so you'll see there has like little hearts, has crowns, and it says princess and hearts. So Party City, this was in the Little Mermaid section, and this is the confetti of Little Mermaid. Dollar Tree has these tube confettis, and they're really soft. You can use those. Dollar Tree had these during Valentine's season, so these are just a whole bunch of red hearts. These came from the Dollar Tree. So this one right here is in the craft section, and I know they usually have it in pink as well, the pink combo. And these are in the party section where you see the party hats, party plates, and stuff like that. And these are called confetti. They usually have it black, gold, silver, blue, and red. Those are the colors that I've seen so far on my local Dollar Tree. This is the brand Joann's Park Lane. If you have a store called Five Below, I got this from there, also in the party section. I'm not sure where I got these from. It's probably from Joann's, but this was from Party City. You can also add these embellishments there, especially if you have like a casino birthday. You can add those there. These are from the store called Tuesday Morning, and this tin was $1.99. I'm not going to go through all the sequins, but you can also, I don't know if y'all ever heard of the store AliExpress. You can also get it from AliExpress, and you can get it from Amazon. From Amazon, you can look up sequins or table scatters or confetti, and even nail little decorations, like the little tiny decorations for nails. You can get that. So again, a lot of these were from the Dollar Tree and AliExpress and stuff. Now this container, I got it from Harbor Freight. This is a toolbox, and it comes with all these little containers, and then is perfect because you can see all the colors that you have in here. All right, so that's the confetti. And also you can use sea beads. Sea beads are those tiny, tiny, tiny little beads. And then when you shake the shaker, you can hear that. So I do love, make sure you get small sea beads. So C-S-E-A beads. I know my Spanish, guys. But sea beads. Do not get like the thick beads, because you're not going to have room to be moving them around. And also, if you want to take extra time, you can cut out little tiny printing cuts of the design of your cake topper. So you, let's say today we're going to be doing a sesame street. So if you want to, you could cut like tiny little Elmos, tiny little big birds, and put them inside of the shaker. I have never done that because it's just going to take too long to do all that, but I have seen people do that as well. Also, you can put like the name of the person inside, their age, and all that kind of stuff. All right, what's going to make your cake topper look 3D? This is where the pop dots or adhesive dots or foam dots, however people call them, this is where they come in. So now Dollar Tree does carry them. They're called pop dot adhesive. You get 2 sheets, so it's 528 of them. These are little squares. You can also get them from Amazon. If you have that store called Tuesday Morning, you can also get them from there. And I like using this one. Now this is also from Dollar Tree, But this is not in the crafting section. This is more like in the home decor, automotive section, stuff like that. And it's called foam mounting tape. And there's a big roll that comes in there, and there's larger squares, as you can see, or rectangles, I'm sorry. And they also have the foam tape at Dollar Tree. But if you don't have your Dollar Tree that's packed like this, just go to Amazon or go to Michael's or go to Joann's and get your adhesive foam dots. You are going to need double-sided tape. There's so many brands out there, but for many years now, let's say since 2018, or 2017, 2018, I've been loving this brand. It's called the 3M Scotch double-sided tape. And you can get it from Amazon and eBay. I know usually Amazon only has the 10 mm size, but I think I got this from eBay. It was thinner. This is kind of expensive, but I highly recommend. It's so strong. Like, there'll be no way that you can like rip this apart, and if you do, you're gonna rip your cardstock. So I highly recommend this. But Dollar Tree also has double-sided tape. Amazon, Dollar Tree, Joann's, Michael's. There's so many brands out there, but specifically for cake toppers to hold my acetate sheets, I do prefer this one. All right, and everything that I'm showing you guys, I do have my Amazon link down below, so just click on the Amazon link down below and you're gonna see I did list some items there. But if you don't see any of these items that I told you guys about, you can still click on my link and do your own search on Amazon and purchase anything. As long as you click on my link and purchase anything from Amazon, I do get a small commission. So thank you so much for all those that do be using my affiliate link. You're going to need a pair of scissors and glue of your choice. If y'all don't know, I do have my own brand of glue, Andrina's Creations crafting glue. So I'll be using my own glue, and don't forget a pair of scissors. Now, how are you going to hold up your cake topper? So you're going to need dowels, or right now it's very popular, people are using the acrylic sticks. So these dowels are from Walmart. You can also get dowels from Amazon or any other craft store. This size is the 3/16. The reason why I got these is because I'm going to be showing you something. Now Dollar Tree also has dowels. You can use paper straws. If you are going to use paper straws, I recommend you getting the 3/16 dowel. And you're going to insert the dowel inside your paper straw to make it more sturdy. And you can cut it, or you can leave some out, so this part goes on the cake, and then this will be the decoration. But try to put a dowel inside of your paper straw so it could be more sturdy. Your acrylic sticks, again, there's no right from wrong. I know a lot of people always ask, well, if I have this, will it come out right? Just because you don't see someone else using those items doesn't mean it's wrong, guys. Always remember that. However you do it, and that's the way you like it, just go with it. It doesn't have to be exactly using all the supplies that I'm showing you here. You can use whatever you want. So these are 6-inch acrylic dowels. These are thicker, and I got these a long time ago. I'm gonna try my best to link them below, but I got these back like in 2019 if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but this is how thick these are. Again, you can get them as thick or thin as you want. Don't get them so thin because you don't want them to be so flimsy and it's not going to hold your cake topper, especially the 3D cake toppers, because you have so much layers, and the more layers you have, the thicker your topper is going to be. These are stirrers or coffee stirrers. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but as you can see, these are flat. And then they have the little bowl in the bottom to stir. And all you have to do is grab a pair of scissors and cut that off. And then you are going to glue the part that you cut inside of your topper. All right, so now we're going to get started on designing. First thing you're going to do is open up your software. I do have Silhouette Business Edition. If you don't have Business Edition, I highly recommend getting Business Edition. You have all the icons that the software provides, and it's only a one-time payment. Another thing, if you don't have a cutting machine, besides this tutorial, if you want to just have this software and use it without a cutting machine, you can use this software without owning a cutting machine. And if you have a Cricut, you can still design in here, having business edition, save your stuff as an SVG, and then bring it in into Cricut. You can download the basic edition for free. I have all the links down below on how to download the basic edition and where to get the business edition using my affiliate link. Now, the first thing you need to do is I'm going to be showing you exactly how my workspace is so people don't get confused. If you are brand new to Silhouette and you have never made any changes inside of Silhouette, I highly recommend doing this, at least this one step as soon as you start. And once you do this, you never have to do it again. And I'm going to show you what it is. I'm going to zoom in. Up here is the plus sign and the minus sign. This is where you zoom in and this is where you zoom out. I'm going to zoom in. Right here on your left, you have some shapes. I'm just going to grab any shape and I'm going to make it here. As you can see, once I drew a shape, it went back to my arrow because that's how I like it. If you go here on your right all the way down to your settings, or it's called preferences, where it says tools, you're going to click on that. And as you can see, everything on my tool says choose to select, meaning if I'm going to put after creating a shape, I'm going to change that and it's going to say continue drawing a shape. Usually that's the default settings. I'm going to click on apply and I'm going to click on OK. If I go back to my shapes and get any size shapes, you can see when I draw a shape, it didn't go back to the arrow. Every time I click, it's going to continuously make a shape until I go back to my left and click on the arrow. And I don't like that, especially for the newbies. You're going to be all confused, like what is going on. I can't touch anything because I keep drawing shapes. So I highly recommend going to your preferences, is the little wheel all the way on the bottom on your right. Click on tools. Everything there, click on it and click choose to select. So everything there, choose select, and all that. You're going to click on apply and click on OK. All right, I'm going to zoom out, and as you can see, also probably my workspace is going to look a little bit darker. That's just a different mode. Some of y'all might have this gray a little bit lighter or darker. I just like mine's like this. Some people like to see their grid to know exactly where they're putting their paper or their vinyl. And how you see that is right here on your page setup. It is the first icon on your right. It looks like a paper. It's called page setup. When you click on it, it's going to say transparency. Mine is on 0. Some people like theirs on 100, and if you have it on 100, you can see the grid. I just like mine's on 0, so I could think this is like my white canvas. All right, so those are the few things there. Now let's get started on designing. You can use these shapes that Silhouette provide, but if you can't find a shape that you want from here, you can easily go to Google and trace an image or a shape. So I am going to go to Google or Bing, because I know a lot of people say, Andrina, you keep saying Google, but you're using Microsoft Bing. Anywho, I am going to look up circle scallop free SVG. Once I type that, I'm going to click on images. I'm going to scroll down, look for which one I like, and I kind of like this one. I'm going to right click, copy the image, go into Silhouette, right click and paste it. And also, you can work outside of your mat. So you have all this area. If you zoom out, you have all this that you can work. You don't specifically have to work right here, but when you are ready to cut or print, it has to be on the mat. We're going to trace this shape, and we are going to go to your trace panel on your right. And if you don't know the names of your icons, if you put your mouse over the icons, you're going to see the names are going to pop up. So we want to go to the one that says open the trace panel, and then it's going to say select trace area. You're going to click there. You're going to see that your mouse now has a different shape. You're going to make a rectangle all around your shape and let it go. Now, right here where it says threshold, you're going to bring that up until you see your image turns yellow. Don't try to zoom so much in, because if you see like fuzzies all around, then that's too much. And I'm going to show you. So if I go all the way up, that is too much. And you see all these things around here. So I'm going to go down, and I think that's fine. I actually don't want those here. I'm going to create my own circle. So I'm just going to go where it says trace outer edge. I'm going to click there, and I'm going to remove this. Click on it and click backspace on my keyboard to remove it. So here's the shape. I'm actually going to color it so you can see the color. And anytime you bring in an image or you trace a shape, you're going to see that it automatically has like a red outline. That's not going to print. But if you don't like seeing that, like myself, you're just going to go to the line style panel. It's right under the paint palette. You're going to click on it. So they have two options here. You're going to click on color and click on the option that says no color. The no color options is the little square that has like lines going across it, and then that removed the red outline. All right, so now we have this shape here, and I want a circle. You're gonna be like, Andrina, so why didn't you just trace the circle? I want to show you every step, just in case you didn't use this one and you just use like something like this. You're gonna have to create your own circle. So right here on your left, you're gonna grab the oval shape. You're gonna hold down your shift key to make sure your oval stays like a circle when you pull it. As you can see, I'm going to color this as well so you can see it more on the screen. And now I want this circle to go in here. So once you created any shape circle, you're gonna see that once you have your circle selected, so if unselected, you don't see nothing. If I click on it, the shape is selected and you see all these white squares all around the image. So you're gonna grab one from the corners and you're gonna drag it in to make it smaller, or drag it out to make it bigger. I'm gonna make it smaller. This is not the only way or the only shapes you can use to make a cake topper. I'm just showing you specifically what I'm doing for this order. You can use any shapes as you want, okay? Like I said before, look on Pinterest for many ideas for 3D cake toppers, shaker cake toppers and stuff like that, and then you can go from there. Don't worry so much about centering it right now, because I'm going to show you how we're going to center it to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to be. Okay, I want this circle here, so I'm going to click here, somewhere here on my screen. Click, drag my mouse to select them both. And how do you know both things are selected? Is that you're going to see a rectangle on both. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. I am going to go to my transform panel on my right, and where it says center, it has two options. I'm going to click on the second one, and then as you can see, it moved and is exactly in the center. We are going to start creating some layers now, and layers is just basically offsets. All you got to do is create multiple offsets to create layers. That's basically it. We're going to click on the yellow scallop shape. Remember, you had to click on something. Go to your offset icon, is the one that has the double star. I'm going to zoom in so you can see when the offset gets created. Make sure you have something selected. Then you're going to click on offset, and you're going to see it automatically made an offset. Where it says distance, you're going to play around with the distance. How far out or in do you want the offset? So we're going to go up. We're going to leave it there. So it's 0.150. You don't have to use this second one. You're going to use whatever you like, but that's what I'll be using. And then while it's still selected, because I haven't clicked nothing else, as you can see, there's a rectangle around it. All I did was click on the distance. It's still selected. I'm going to go to my paint fill icon. It looks like a paint palette, and I'm going to color it so you can see it there. All right, so that offset is still selected. I'm going to go back to the offset panel, click on offset, and we're going to do the same exact distance so everything could look cohesive. So it was 0.150. I'm going to go back to my paint fill, and I am going to color this one purple. All right, as you can see, it's still, all these got the red outline, so I'm just going to select everything, go to the outline panel, and click on no color. So right here I have 1 layer, 2, 3, and 4. 4 layers we created. I'm going to click undo so everything will go back to where it was. The undo button is this arrow right here, so undo. Okay. So now we created this. Your next step is, let me not confuse you guys. This circle here in the middle, it's where you're going to add your images. So you can get, or your images or your backgrounds. So you can just look up any background of your choice. So I just look up colorful triangle pattern designs. Once you see one that you like, all you're going to do is right click, copy, go into Silhouette, right click, and paste. I'm going to zoom out. Now, I am going to make this square smaller, so when you click on it, it has the white squares all around it. I'm just going to drag it in a little bit. I'm going to zoom in. Remember, none of this is grouped. I just have it layered. I haven't grouped nothing yet. I'm going to put this background in front of it. I'm going to click on it, right click, and send to the back. And I'm going to make it smaller. So while my background is selected, I'm going to hold the shift key, click on the circle, and then I am going to go to my modify panel on my right. It's like the rectangle with a circle on top, and I'm going to click where it says crop. When I did that, as you can see, the image went inside of the circle. I'm actually going to click on this circle, right click, and duplicate it because we do need this circle. And I'm just going to color it a solid color for now. So we do need this one. All right, so this is how it's looking so far. Now this circle, this is what's going to make my layers to get the thickness for my shakers to move around my shaker. I like using the cardstock method, but some people do use the adhesive foam tape. I showed you at the beginning when I showed you the supplies that you can use adhesive foam tape, but today I'll be doing the cardstock method. You do use a lot of cardstock, but y'all know I have a lot of cardstock here, and sometimes I don't like when my shaker or my sequence gets stuck on the adhesive foam tape, so that's why I like using cardstock. If you get those paper packs from Michaels that have like 50 in a pack, you're going to have cardstock for days. And if you're like me, if you're a cardstock hoarder, you're going to have a lot of cardstock. Anyways, let's continue. Let me move this to the side. And I'm actually going to color this white so y'all can see it better. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. While this circle is selected, I am going to go to the offset panel. Again, that's the icon with the double star. And now we are going to do an an offset. We're going to do an actual offset, but let me look at this really quick. Yeah, we're going to do an offset. We're going to do an offset. So click on the circle, click on the offset. As you can see, let me zoom in. And once I zoom in and apply this, I need to click back on it and do an offset. So let's imagine that the white circle is going to be the negative space and the offset is just going to be the circle that I'm going to use for the thickness. I don't want it to be that thin. So I'm going to go up more. I noticed that I need to make, let me group this together really quick. Group it. I'm going to make this circle just a little bit smaller because I want that circle to be there. All right, now I'm going to center this. Okay, now let me use this circle, color it white so y'all can see it, and y'all going to see why I did that. So let me zoom back in. I'm going to click on offset. You're going to see the offset around it. I want to go up on the distance. I want the outer circle to be at least 0.5 because that's how big my tape is. So at least 0.5, and I'm going to leave it just like that for now. I already have the cake topper design, guys, but I'm just showing you how I actually designed it. So I'm going to color this, let's say black, so you can see it. Right here, you can actually get a vision of what I was talking about. So right now, this is how thick the outer is going to be. You see these two circles are, there's nothing. It's just a circle on top of a circle. So let me undo. I'm going to click here somewhere on my screen, drag my mouse to click on to select both. As you can see, I have a square around both circles. I'm going to go to my modify panel or the modify icon, and I'm going to click where it says subtract all. I'm going to click that. You're going to think that nothing happened. Then I'm going to click somewhere else on the screen. Click on this middle circle and click delete on my keyboard. And now I'm left with this circle. Another thing that I highly recommend is coloring everything as you go, because a lot of this stuff is getting cut out of cardstock. So I highly recommend coloring it here, so when you're ready to cut your cardstock, you know what color cardstock to load up. So you see here, I'm going to cut this layer out in yellow, I'm going to cut this out in red, and I'm going to cut this out on purple, and you kind of have a vision on how the cake topper is going to end up looking. All right, so I want this circle to be pink. And again, it doesn't even matter the color you put it here because you're the one loading the color cardstock to your mat. But I'm just telling you so you can get familiar on what color you're going to cut. So this circle, I'm going to group this really quick. All right, let me not confuse you. I'm sorry, I think I'm going too fast. And I do apologize. This video is getting so long. If I don't group this, right? And I select all this, and I go to my transform panel and click on center, it did it right this time. But sometimes it gets all buffled and it gets like shuffled and it looks all messed up. It did it right this time, but as you can see, all I did was center it together. Sometimes what I do is I will group all this first and then I will center it to make sure it's completely centered. Always make sure that everything is getting centered correctly, because if you don't have it centered and then once you weld it and subtract it and then you go cut, and if it wasn't centered when you are about to assemble your cake topper, it's not going to look right. Take it from me because I already did that mistake. Okay, so let's ungroup. So this circle, I'm going to right click and duplicate it. This is the one that I'm going to be cutting multiple times. The more of this circle that you cut, the more thickness you're going to have, and the more chance you have that the sequence is going to shake in there very well. If you don't have enough thickness, your shaker is not going to be moving around as much. All right, so remember, this circle I'm going to cut multiple times. All right, so this is how it's looking. My next step is I am going to get the Sesame Street blank logo. That's exactly what I typed. And then I clicked on images. And I did put Sesame Street blank logo PNG. PNG means that is a transparent background image that is not going to have a white background. And how do you know if it has a white background? Is when you click on the image, you're going to see it has white and gray rectangles behind it. And that means it is a PNG. PNG images, you cannot right click, copy and paste. You have to right click and save it to your computer. While we're here, so I don't go back and forth, go ahead and look up your other images. So I'm going to be using an Elmo PNG. I click on images and save the Elmo that you want or whatever character you're doing. I also looked up Abby Kadabi PNG and clicked on images, and then I saved the one that I wanted. Okay? Once you have everything saved, you're going to go to Silhouette, and you have two options on how to bring in your images. You can go to File, you can go to Merge, and look up wherever you saved your images. So I have a folder called Sesame Street. Once you click on it, you're going to click on the images that you want. So I want this Elmo. I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to go back to File and Merge. Click on the Abby Kadabi. So this is option 1, or you can go to your quick search and do the drag and drop. So if you just save these images to your computer, they should be right here on your quick access. So all you have to do is, right here it says Abby, all I have to do is drag it into Silhouette. I'll click on Sesame Street sign, drag it into Silhouette, and if the Elmo's right there, I will just drag it into Silhouette. And because there are PNG images, it will come in with a transparent background. Now, the newest update is not so new, but it is a new update of Silhouette that as soon as you bring in a PNG image, it automatically traces it for you, which that is a great thing. Back then, you had to automatically erase the imaginary background off of the PNG. You no longer have to do that because it's already traced for you. And what I mean is, if I want to do a print and cut in this Elmo, it's going to cut right around Elmo. So if I go to my Send panel, as you can see, the red lines is right around Elmo. Back then, you could see that imaginary rectangle there. That's what the machine wanted to cut. It no longer does that. All right. So I want this sign to go. And I think I didn't say this, but if I'm not giving you the size yet of everything that I'm doing, it's because once I create everything, I will size the entire topper to the size that I need. So right now I'm just designing. At the end, I will size it. What size cake toppers do you want? Number one, you can ask your customer what size cake topper they need. Number two, you can ask what size cake is going to go on. And depending on if they're extra or not, do you want them to say, do you want an extravagant cake topper? So let's say if their cake is 6 inches, you can go a little bit higher to 7 inches. But if they want something elaborate, you could go up to 8 inches. So it's all up to the customer. Some people don't want the cake topper overpowering the cake. So if the cake is 6 inches, you can make it at least 5.5 to 4 inches. If the cake is 8 inches, you can make it at least 6.5 to 7 inches. But if they want to go over the top and they want to be elaborate and extravagant, they might want a 10-inch cake topper. All right. So it's totally up to you and the customer. There is, again, no right or wrong of the size either. There's not a per se size that you have to stay in that size. All right, enough with the talking, you might say. Andrina, come on. All right, so this, did I group this? I need to group this. Let's leave it like this for now. I want this sign to go in the bottom, and just size it to whatever you want until it looks good to you. I don't want it up here. I want to actually cover everything down here. So I'm going to maybe that size there. It is not centered properly in the bottom. So I want this to be exactly in the middle. Nothing is grouped yet. This is what I meant why I like to group. Nothing is grouped yet. So let's say I select everything and I go to my transform panel and I want to center it to the bottom. As you can see, everything here moved to the bottom. That's why I like to group. So I'm going to move this and I'm going to right click and group all this together so it can move as one. We are going to be ungrouping again later on. Again, this is a long process, just bear with me. Now, I want this shape to go here in the bottom, but I wanted to make sure it's centered. Now, because all this is grouped and I will select and hold everything, I want to center it to make sure it's in the center, and then center to bottom. And there you have it. It's centered correctly in the bottom. I want my Elmo to sit on top of that sign, but before we sit him on, let's type. So how do you type? You're going to go to the A on your left, then A on your right. You're going to select the font of your choice. I'm just going to click on Arial for now. Click anywhere on your screen. I'm going to hit the caps lock to capitalize everything. Then you're going to click anywhere else on your screen to get off the edit mode. You're going to click back on your font, and you can download free fonts in thefont.com. Whenever you download fonts, you need to make sure that your software is completely closed. Download and install all your fonts. Once you install them, then you can open back up your software and all your fonts should be there. I do have a separate tutorial on how to download free fonts from thefont.com. Okay, so my word is selected. I'm going to go to the outline panel, click on the no color option, go to my fill panel and click on the color white, as you can see. Another tip, let's say you don't like these colors that are here when you are coloring something. If you have something that to match the color, all you have to do is make sure you have the font selected. There's a dropper right here in your fill panel. You're going to click on the dropper. You're going to bring that dropper to whatever color you want to match. Let's say I want this color purple, and then it will turn to that color. And if you don't have any image of that color, you can easily go to Google and type a color palette. So let's say maroon color palette, and you're going to click on it. You're going to right click, copy image, go into silhouette, right click and paste. And now you can use the dropper to get these colors. And you can also save colors to your palette. All right. So I want this one to be white, and we're going to put it right here. And because Silhouette automatically traced Elmo, it has that red outline around him. So I'm going to select Elmo, go to the line style and click on no color. So let's sit Elmo. Right on, and then right click Elmo and bring to the front. So we're going to put him right there. And Abby Kadabi, I am going to right click, flip horizontally, make her a little bit smaller, right click and bring to the front, and then place Abby wherever you would like. I want Elmo to have some balloons near him, so you can go to Google and look up balloon SVG. So let's say you would like this one here, and that is a transparent background. So all you have to do is save this, or get one that you could just right click and copy. Let me see if you can. So this one, all you're gonna have to do is right click and copy, go into Silhouette and paste it. Then you go to your trace panel, click on select trace area, make a box around it, wait till it turns yellow. Once it does, click where it says trace, remove this and click on delete. I am going to color this so you can see it. So right here, you're going to say, well, how are you going to layer this? You need to right click and release compound path. And if you zoom in, you're going to see everything's a layer. So you can click on this one, color it a color, click on that one. All right, this is a one method, and then what you will do is you will cut out the cardstock of each color that you want for the balloons, and then you're going to layer it together. I actually purchased my balloon SVG because I didn't want to go through that entire process. Where did I buy it from? Right here in Silhouette. If you go to the store and you type balloon SVG, and then I actually purchased this one because it's already separated and layered, and I didn't feel like doing all that, so it's already done for me. Once you purchase it and download it, it should be in your library. So I'm gonna go back to Silhouette, go into my library and type in balloons. So here's my SVG. I'm going to right click and merge. If you right click and click on open, you're going to open a new document. So right click and merge. Once you merge it, this is the SVG. Let me actually color it. So it's multiple layers and it is grouped. So you need to right click and ungroup it. You don't have to use this one, but this is the one that I'll be using. And I'm going to color this white and this white because I'm going to actually cut that out of white cardstock. And then color the balloons the color that you want them to be. So this layer is going to go on top of here. This layer goes on top of there. And I'm just putting it together so I can see how everything's going to look. Now I'm going to group all this together even though we're not going to cut it group, but I do need to group it so I know exactly where it's going to go. And I may want it around here. Okay, I'm just putting everything together little by little, and then we'll keep adjusting. We are going to go back to the A on the left, click anywhere on your screen, type a number that you want to add. If you want to add the age, click on it, add a color, and go to your font and change the font that you would like to use. I'm actually going to add multiple layers to this as well. So I'm going to click on it, click on the offset, and I'm going to go down to maybe 0.60, and I'm going to color that other layer yellow. Go back to my offset, do the same distance, 0.65, color that one blue, and another offset. And I'm going to color that one purple. Going to select everything and go to the outline panel and click on no color. This number has multiple layers that you can cut different color cardstock and layer it up. For now, I'm just going to group it so I know exactly where we're putting the number and make sure we're moving stuff around. I also want to add Cookie Monster and other characters here, so I'm going to go to File and Merge and bring in Cookie Monster. I have this image of PNG, but I don't want all these characters, so all I want is probably Big Bird and him. So all you gotta do is, because these are connected, you're gonna grab the eraser tool on your left and just erase one of them or half of one, doesn't matter, and it automatically separates. So I'm going to delete all these. Again, they have that red outline, so I'm going to remove that red outline and start placing your characters where you want them to be. I'm going to click on Elmo and the sign and right click and bring it to the front, just because this image I'm actually going to print it in that background. And I'm going to click on the number 2 and bring it to the front. And let's start playing around with Cookie Monster. Make sure you place your images where you want them to go, exactly where you want them to be, because those images are going to get printed. So once you put this on top, you want them exactly where you see it here. All right. So now I also want to add layers to, oh wait, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but I think when I brought it to the front, I didn't even group that. I didn't even know. Let me copy. I'm gonna hold down my shift key and click on the word Unique Street and the sign. Right click and group that together actually. Right click and bring to the front. And then right click Elmo and bring to the front. All right. And let me see something. These images should be right in the circle, but we'll fix that later. Now, I want to create layers on the balloons, on Abby, and on Elmo and the sign. Right now, they don't have no layers, and this is a layered 3D cake topper. So I'm actually going to print out the sign and Elmo together. So I'm going to click on the sign, click on Elmo, and right click and group it together. So when I create the offset, it offsets together. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go to the offset panel, create an offset. I'm just going to go down to 0.65. 0.065. And I'm going to color that purple. And I'm going to do the same thing with Abby. Offset 0.065. I think that was too much. Alright, as you can see, that offset looks too big, and it's because this image of Abby has too much going on around it, which I didn't even see that. So let's zoom in on Abby, and let me put, alright, I don't know if I zoom in, has like these little particles all around. I'm just gonna grab the eraser tool and erase one or two, and it will automatically erase Abby from all that extra stuff. As you can see, look, if I drag my mouse, you see all that stuff that Abby had that we didn't need. I'm just gonna click delete on my keyboard, and now if I select Abby and click on offset, that offset shouldn't be big, so is 0.065 and enter. And I'm going to color it. Now I'm going to go down one more. And color it purple. And I'm going to go do another offset, because remember I want at least 3 layers. And color it pink. And select everything and remove all them outline colors. I'm going to group it together for now, but remember at the end we had to ungroup everything. Place Abby where you want her to be. Now, the thing about all these layers is you cannot have it overlapping the images inside, because then you're not going to be able to see. So you see it was like kind of, so if I go right click and bring to front, it was kind of covering Big Bird a little bit. So I'm going to move Big Bird a little bit to the side. So when all them layers are there, I'm able to see Big Bird. Now, I still need another offset here because it's purple is only layer 2. I'll click on it and do another offset. And I'm going to color it pink. And the balloons, I want some layers as well. And as you can see right here, what's going on, when I did all these offsets, it's kind of overlapping these balloons. So I'm going to have to probably bring in Cookie Monster a little bit in. Click on these balloons and probably make it smaller. Too much overlapping. Alright, click on the balloons, do the same layers, same steps, guys. I'm gonna actually group all the balloons together with the layers and copy and bring to the front. Now make sure you're zooming in, because you don't want the layers actually to be on top of each other. So I don't mind all the pink layers together, but not the purple. And as you can see, the balloon and the number 2 is going to be touching, so I'm just going to bring in the balloons a little bit more like that. Okay, so I think we are good here. We have multiple layers. I think we did 3 layers. Layers, like I said, is just offset, 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 and those are multiple layers. You're going to zoom out and look if you like how everything looks. Again, remember to color every layer the color cardstock that you are going to be using. So you kind of be looking back at the computer and be like, okay, I wanted this purple and I wanted this yellow. All right, you're not done yet, guys. Now we have to combine the layers and weld the layers. So remember, all this was kind of grouped. So we have to ungroup, ungroup, ungroup. So, and one thing I'm going to say before we do all that is select the entire topper, right click and group it together first, right click and duplicate it. This is going to be the original copy first. No, 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 no. Let me not confuse you. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Sorry. Let's size the topper really quick. Remember, we never sized it. So when I click on it, right now is 6.24 in height and 7.8 in width. My customer said that she wanted exactly kind of the size that I originally made the other one. So right here in my page setup, where it says media size, I'm going to put it 8 by 11, meaning like a 8 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to put it on landscape because I want it to fit on an 8 by 11 cardstock when I cut all the layers. So I'm just gonna do not pull from the sides, always pull from the corners, and you're going to size it to the size that you want. You can see the balloons don't fit, so let me bring it down a little bit more. Think that's fine. It will fit on the 8 by 11. So if you want to know the size of this one, is 8.10 by 10.16. Again, your topper might not look like mine, so your size is going to be different. Now we're going to bring this one to the side, right click and duplicate it. So this is a copy that you're going to have just in case anything happens to this, or you mistakenly did something wrong and now you got to start over. Always right click and duplicate your work so you don't have to start from the bottom or from the beginning. And you can actually duplicate this as many times as you want. So now let's start the welding and all that fun stuff, huh? I'm gonna right click and ungroup it, and you gotta right click and ungroup all these layers. So Elmo, no, I'm going to select Elmo, select the sign, right click and group it together. I'm going to print this out. All right, Abby, I need to ungroup her from all the layers, and I'm going to be printing Abby. Before you do all this, make sure that you have everything sized correctly, everything centered correctly. If you don't have everything centered or not aligned before you're doing everything that we're about to do, when you start assembling your topper, it's going to be a hot mess. So before you start doing what I'm going to show you, you need to make sure everything is centered and aligned and everything where you want it to be. All right. This number 2, I also need to ungroup it, and I'm going to be cutting this out of cardstock, cardstock, and cardstock, and I'm actually going to print this purple one, so I know exactly where I want to place the number 2. So that's a quick tip right there. I'm going to actually leave one of the offsets so it could print on the background, so I know exactly where to layer the number 2. So I'm going to select this purple layer. Remember, I'm going to cut this out of purple cardstock, and we're going to cut this out of purple cardstock. Well, I am. These balloons, oops, see, undo. See, I was about to move it. I need to right click and ungroup, and let's put that here for now. This purple layer is going to get cut out of purple cardstock. As you can see, I'm leaving all the pink, and I'm going to show you why. All this, I wanted to get cut out of pink cardstock. It's already on top of each other. I'm going to actually color this one white so you can see, or orange. And this one maybe white. Okay. So there you can see it. If I don't weld this together, when I go cut this pink out, it's going to be cutting inside of each other and not like together. So if I go to my sand panel, you see it's going to be getting like the balloons is going to be cutting inside of Elmo, and it's going to be a hot mess. Even the circle is going to be cutting in together. So what I want to do is I want to click on the balloon layer, hold down my shift key, click on this sign layer, click on the Abby layer, and click on that circle. And no, hold on, see guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hurry up. I need to ungroup all this. Everything's grouped back there. All these layers are grouped. Okay, that's it. Remember this pink circle? I need that before we weld it. So right click and duplicate it. I need this circle. Don't forget, you need that circle if you're doing the cardstock method. So we need that there. And I'm going to zoom in. Now, we're going to click on the Abby layer. Hold down our shift key. Click on that pink circle. Click on the balloon layer. And click on this down layer. I'm going to right click and weld it together. When you welded it, now it is one shape. And let me move all this to the side so you can see. If I go and cut this out with the machine, everything is one shape. And I'm actually going to color it pink so I don't get confused. This layer I wanted to cut pink. Alright, so this is going pink. Let's bring this back in here and zoom in. So this is going, oh guys, oh never mind because we duplicated. Y'all gonna kill me. I know these comments gonna be like, Andrina, like, come on, sorry guys. Alright, don't worry about it because we already duplicated. Remember, don't forget to duplicate. Because I was gonna say I missed a whole step, but we're good, we're good. Alright, so this circle we're going to print. So this is going to get cut out of, let me move it to the side, and we're going to ungroup it, and this is going to be cut out of yellow, this is going to get cut out of red, and this is going to get cut out of purple. All right, now as you can see, the feet of Big Bird is outside of that, and you don't want that. You can actually fix it, and the way you fix it is you're going to click on Big Bird, click on the circle, and go to your modify panel and click on divide. Once you click on divide and you zoom in and actually click on Big Bird's feet, and you can actually delete that and that part. And group everything together. As you can see, Cookie Monster went to the back. So I'm just going to select all this and send to the back. And make sure I ungroup this because I want the number to be in the front. Ungroup and click that number and bring to the front. Don't get scared if you don't see something. That means the image just went to the back. Just send everything back to the back so you can see the image where it went. Now, select everything here, right click and group it together. And I'm going to print this out. This is going to get printed. All right. Remember I said duplicate it? Thank God we did that, because if not, we had to undo, and you was going to be like, come on, Andrina. All right. I'm going to right click and duplicate this again, just in case something happens. Now, all this is grouped together, right? And what you need to do is, remember, all this is grouped together. You're going to click on it. If I go cut this out, look what the machine's going to want to do. It's going to want to cut all this. You don't want that. So what you need to do is you're going to right click and weld all this together. Once you weld it, it's going to become one shape. This is going to be the back of your cake topper. to know exactly where everything's going to go. This is going to be the foundation of your cake topper, all right? So you need this. And I think we are done. Now, let me put this back on portrait. How are you going to cut and print this out? So first you could do a print and cut, or you can print and cut it by hand. Because it doesn't fit this way, so I'm going to hold down my shift key and turn it around. I'm going to show you a trick. It usually works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. If you do a lot of print and cuts and sometimes your machine might cut something that it wasn't supposed to do, what I like to do sometimes is I would like to add a small offset around this image. So look, I am going to click on offset, and I'm going to bring it in really close, maybe like that. And I'm going to color it black. You could color it any color you want. I'm going to color it black, remove the outline, and color the outline transparent color. Do not group this together, okay? Do not group it. When you go to your scent panel, your machine is going to want to cut the offset, it's going to want to cut Elmo, and it's going to want to cut the unique street. And know that, remember, we have a small offset there. What you're going to do is you're going to click on both and click on no cut. So the machine thinks, okay, it's not going to cut the offset and it's not going to cut the image. So now you're going to select the original image, not the offset, the front image, and you're going to click where it says cut to edge. So it's going to cut around it. If by any means the machine doesn't cut like right where it's supposed to, you still have the offset that if it cuts like more in the bottom, it's not going to look bad, versus it's going to cut into Elmo and stuff like that. But if it does do that, you still have that black offset around it. And I hope I'm making sense. It's probably so complicated for you guys, but just do that. And now I could group this together because we already did all the fixings in the send panel. I'm going to flip this around so it can fit better. Go right here to your page setup. Go to where it says registration marks, turn them on, and where it says thickness, bring it all the way up. Make sure whatever you're going to do a print and cut, it doesn't show, your image doesn't go over the red outline. Whatever is over the red outline, your machine is not going to cut, and you're going to have to cut that out by hand. You want to do the same thing with Abby. So if I go to the send panel, it's going to want to cut right here on Abby, but let's say the machine doesn't cut it right. So I will still add a small offset on Abby. And I'm going to do that purple because it actually, no, not purple, sorry. As you zoom in into Abby, Abby already has like a small offset. So I'm actually going to color it that exact color. So I'm going to click on the dropper and color it that same color. Do not group it yet. Go to the send panel, select both, click on no cut, unselect it, only click on Abby, and click on cut. The reason why I'm clicking cut on Abby and not cut to edge is because Abby don't have nothing extra on top of her. Here we had Elmo and the words that we typed, so the machine wanted to cut the name and Elmo separate. You see that we sat Elmo on top of the sign, so it was actually gonna cut out Elmo separately, and then it was gonna cut into the sign and then cut out all the words. That's why I put cut to edge. All right, now you can group Abby with the offset and put her where you want it to be. And is that all we're printing? And we're also printing this, but I'm not doing a print and cut with this. I'm actually gonna cut it by hand, and it doesn't even fit there. Anywho, go back to the send panel, and you're going to print this out. You're gonna go onto your printer icon. You're gonna go to print. Then you're gonna select the printer that you have. Go to preferences, and then select 8 by 11 document size if that's the paper size you're going to be using. Anything that I print, I like to print on presentation paper matte, and then I click on OK and then print that out. Once you print that out, you're going to put this paper aligned correctly on your mat, and you're going to send to cut. Now the settings that I like to use is blade of 6. I'm going to bring my force up maybe to a 28, and then my speed, I will bring it down either to a 4 or 3, and then I'm going to send this to cut. Once that is cut, I'm going to take this off the mat. Remember that you still have a copy here, so when you're ready to assemble, you know how everything goes. I am going to print this out, but I don't even need them registration marks, so I'm going to turn it off. Print this out. As you can see, this image is like really white on the outside, so if you're cutting it out by hand, you might not know exactly where to cut it at. So I'm going to select the circle, go to my outline, and click on black outline. And you do need to bring up the thickness at least. If you have the thickness on 0, any outline that you have on 0 is not going to actually print. So you need to bring up the thickness at least up 0.25. Now I'm going to print this out and cut it by hand. So again, printer icon, select all your settings and print. Once you print that out, put it to the side and you're done with that. Now, remember I told you to have everything color coordinated so you know what colors you're going to cut. This is the backing of my of the cake topper. If you're using a one-sided cardstock, basically like the glitter cardstock is only has glitter on one side, and you want the glitter to be facing the back of the topper, you need to flip this horizontally to cut that layer out, so to make sure that the glitter is in the back. All right. Remember, it doesn't fit this way if you're going to be cutting it on 8 by 11, but if you're going to be using 12 by 12, just select on your page setup, click on 12 by 12 cardstock, and it fits there correctly. If you are going to be using 8 by 11 cardstock, just rotate this shape and make it fit there, and go ahead to the send panel. And send this to cut. Remember, this was flipped horizontally because I am doing glitter cardstock. Then I am going to right click and flip it back horizontally to the original way that I need it. And I am going to cut this out 3 more times. So a total of these pieces, I want 4 of this backing. Remember that I am cutting 4 pieces of this one. Reason why is because I want it to be thick and not flimsy. You could cut as many pieces as you want. You can cut 2 or 4. All right. So once you are done cutting this out, you're going to cut this pieces, and I'll be probably using again glitter cardstock, purple cardstock. These balloons, I'm probably gonna be cutting it out in gold, so let me just color like an orange. I'm gonna cut this out in gold. More than likely, I like to cut all my pieces 2 times. So if I'm using glitter, I will still cut out the same piece out of solid cardstock to back it up, because I just like it to be thick. All right, so I will cut this out 2 times. If it doesn't fit that way, again, flip it like that and make it fit all the colors. Remember to use any cardstock of your choice. Cut out all the pieces. Now the balloons. The balloons, you're going to ungroup it and cut out all the pieces of the colors that you color them. All right. Cut out all the pieces of the balloons. And the last part is this piece right here. This is for the thickness, so the shakers, the sequence can move. I like to have at least 10 of these circles, 10 to 12. You can do less or you could do more. I usually don't know. I just be looking at how thick it's becoming. I need it to be thick so the sequence can move. So I want at least 10 of these circles, roughly 10 to 12, but it's up to you. All right. So cut these out. Also, if you want to use the machine to cut out your circle, I don't let the machine cut out my circle because usually my mat is not perfectly clean, and the acetate takes all that debris from the mat. But if you do want to cut it out, so you can also cut out the circle with your machine. What you're gonna do is you're gonna right click and duplicate this circle, and you're going to right click and release compound path and remove that circle from the middle. And now this is the circle that you are going to need to cut out your acetate sheet. All right, and I think that's it. I hope I covered everything, and now let's go ahead and start cutting everything out and putting everything together. Okay, here are all the pieces cut out, and every single layer I cut out 2 of them. So there's 2 of this piece, 2, 2. Each piece has 2 just because I want it to be thicker. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue them together. So this is going to be the back of the cake topper, and then I'm going to glue this on top. So all my layers I'm going to glue together. Even the images that I printed out, I also cut out a backing so they could be thicker. All right, everything has 2. The balloons has 2. So I'm gonna glue all the backings together. Everything usually gets stuck on glossy paper, so if I'm going to glue a backing on it, I'll put a piece of parchment paper or any paper in the bottom so it doesn't get dirty on the table, and I'll put it upside down, and then I will glue the backing on it. Alright, so now you're going to grab the part that's going to be in the back of the cake topper. You're going to grab your sticks, whatever sticks you're going to use. Now this is a preference if you want 1 or 2 sticks. I'm going to be using 2 because it is wide. And then the way I like to do it is I will put the sticks matching by the end of my table, like right here, so they could, I know they're straight, like that. And then I will bring the cake topper down because I want a lot of it glued. Make sure you stay as straight as possible. And then you're going to use hot glue to glue it. I like to also put hot glue around it to make sure it's secured. Now you're gonna get your adhesive foam dots or foam squares, and put them all around. But if you don't want people to be seeing as much as the foam, don't go right to the edge. Go closely, but not so close, if that makes any sense, if you don't want people like seeing all that foam. Remove all the backing. I am going to be adding hot glue on top of the sticks and a little bit of hot glue on all the foam dots. You're going to grab the other layer and you're going to place it right on top. Make sure you align it very good, as best as you can. And you have created your first layer. One thing I did want to say is when you use metallic cardstock and you use glue on it, you are going to be able to see the glue lines because that means it's warping the paper. And they usually only happens a lot with metallic, but because you're not going to be able to see much of this cardstock, I didn't mind. Usually when you are able to see the cardstock, if I'm putting this in front of something, I will use double-sided tape. So now remember, I told you guys to leave your cake topper on your computer so you know exactly where everything's gonna be going. But then you can also see the lining on the backing. So basically, as you can see these two curves, I know they're gonna go right there, like here. Now you can glue this part down or pop dot it. So remember, this is a 3D layer, so the more layers the better. So I'm going to add adhesive square foam in the back too. You're gonna do the same thing with this layer. Okay, because of the way that my cake topper is, I need to make sure that this part aligns correctly on here once I'm building. So if I go ahead and glue this, and then I'll start gluing my circles right on top, and then I go ahead and glue this, and it doesn't line up correctly, then the cake topper is messed up. So I'm actually going to start building on this part. If you didn't do this part, then you can go ahead and start building, but I'm actually going to build on this part. So grab all your circles. If you didn't use the cardstock method, this is where you are going to use your foam tape. So you will go all around with your foam tape right here. Make sure that you don't leave no opening so your sequence doesn't come out, and you will glue all your foam tape around. Also, don't forget that this image is going to go glued in here, and then you're going to put foam tape all around, and then you will cover it up with a piece of your shape. You will cover the foam tape. I remember I said that I didn't use the foam tape method, I used the cardstock. So if you went this route, I will leave 2 circles on the side, and then I'm going to glue all these together. I use 6 papers, 2 circles fit on each, so this is 12 circles altogether. Alright, so here is all the circles glued. As you can see, look how thick it is, and it's gonna have enough room for the sequence to shake, and this one only has 2. Now I don't think I said this when I was designing, but I'm actually going to the same circle that we subtracted this circle from inside. I'm going to click on this circle, I'm going to right click and release compound path and delete the circle from the inside, the cutout, so I can have a full circle. So here's the circle, and it's going to help me much better know exactly where to put this at, and then add the image to the middle, and then I have the foundation, because Usually I will just put this, well, it's gonna go here. Usually I will just put this on top, but because I'm actually gonna start building on this layer, because I need to make sure everything's aligned correctly. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. If you have to rewind the video and you know, fast forward or anything, because I'm talking too much, but I'm trying to explain everything as I go. So again, instead of the cardstock, you can use foam tape. Just make sure that you put foam tape all around, that there's no openings. If you go the cardstock way, make sure that all your cardstock is glued down, because you don't want the sequence to accidentally come out of here, because I mean, that's not professional. All right, so remember, this layer is going to go on here, then this is going to go on here. I just cut out a circle so I could just layer everything on here, and everything probably will make sense once I start building. So grab your 2 circles, and you're going to put double-sided tape on top of this one and double-sided tape on top of this one. And I already showed you the tape at the beginning. Make sure every time you cut out your cardstock for the thickness that is as thick as your tape. But if you don't know exactly the measurements, and let's say you accidentally cut these circles thinner than your tape, all you gotta do is, once you put your tape, you're gonna overlap the tape inside, because you cannot have tape coming out of, like, coming out this way, because you're gonna be able to see it throughout the acetate sheet. Once you put your adhesive tape all around, you're gonna grab your acetate sheet, and you can see right here it's kind of overlapping, so I'm just gonna take the backing off of this tape. Make sure that you have the tape all around, there's no gaps. I don't know if you can see it there, it's kind of overlapping, I mean going that way, so just push it in. Look at it before you put it on your acetate sheet, because if you leave any, you're going to be able to see that. Some people use hot glue or regular glue. I have never done that. I always use double-sided tape. So if you want to try that route, go ahead and feel free to do so. And sorry if y'all hear the TV in the background. I'm watching the ID channel. It's really early in the morning right now while I'm actually finishing this topper. All right, I left that paper there just so my acetate doesn't get dirty. I'm just gonna go right to the corner of the acetate, because remember, we could use all this sheet, you're not gonna throw it away, so go right at the corner. I'm just gonna use a squeegee and make sure I press down really good. Then I'm gonna go around with a pair of scissors and trim out all the excess. Oh, one thing is, if you use foam tape instead of cardstock to give the thickness for your shakers, sometimes the shakers are going to get stuck on the adhesive of the foam tape. So some people, I have seen that they use cornstarch around it so it won't get stuck, because once it's shaking, remember the foam tape is sticky. So you're going to use this and put it all around for the thickness, and the sides are still sticky, so the shakers might get stuck. All right, so we have this and we also have this. Now we're going to grab this circle. This is going to go right on top of this circle, but the image has to go in here first. So I'm actually going to place the image and put this up top. and make sure everything's aligned good. Then I'm just gonna hold it there to make sure it's at the right spot and glue it down. Then glue this on top of here. Make sure everything is pressed down really good. You don't want the sequins coming out. Start adding your sequins. The happy birthday one, I got it from Dollar Tree. These balloons also are from the Dollar Tree. I do add a lot because sometimes it does get stuck in the grooves, even if you're doing cardstock. Remove the tape. Then you're going to add this part on top. Press down really good. All right, once everything is glued together, remember I did it separate just because I needed to line it up, so remember that. But if you didn't, if you knew exactly where everything went, you could have just built everything in here. So now this is going to go behind this part here, and now I can line it up perfectly exactly where it goes. So it's going to go right there. All right, so I'm going to glue this right there. Now you can glue or layer this with the foam dots. Now because this is glitter, I'll be using hot glue to connect this part there, okay? Because it's glitter. Then you're just gonna line it up and glue this part. Now get your other layer, which will be this one and that one, and put some foam dots. Don't forget to use hot glue when you're layering on top of glitter. Now I'm just going to layer the number. I'm going to use double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it right on top of that offset that we did there. Add your images. Now I'm going to layer the balloons, and you can glue them on top of each other or layer it with foam dots. Alright guys, so we are at the end of our first YouTube class. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of long, but hey, it's a class. I needed to explain everything step by step. So here is how everything turned out. You see all the multiple layers. Now I can say this is an over the top extra cake topper. But if you know me, I love extra. I love the details. Now feel free to do a cake topper. You don't have to do it as extravagant and big as this one. Feel free to do a smaller one and use as many layers and do a shaker. If you do try them, please join my Facebook crafting group. It is called Andrina's Creations Crafting Lounge, and use hashtag 3D Shaker Cake Topper. I would love to see your work. Even if it's not for a customer, just feel free to practice. Now it's not going to come out right the first time or the second time. I mean, it's just practice, guys, but you could definitely do it. Don't feel intimidated. Again, I would love to see what you make. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified every time I upload more videos. Let me know down below if you like these kind of classes. I know this kind of videos is not for everyone. A lot of people don't like to see long videos. But let me know down below if you guys would like more of these videos, step-by-step classes like this. And yeah, guys, so again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click on that notification bell. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you on my next class. Bye-bye, guys. All right, this is a bonus clip in here. I'm going to package it up because I am going to ship it. I'm just going to put some cardstock. You can even use chipboard to put it in a cellophane bag. The cellophane bag is according to the size of your cake topper. So depending on what size you're going to be making your cake topper, just get different size of cellophane bags from Amazon. And a lot of people is also going to ask, well, how much do you charge? You can start your cake toppers at $25 and up. The more extravagant, the more you add on them, you have to go up. This is a lot of cardstock and a lot of work, and it's very time consuming. All right, so I'm just going to place it in here, and I'm going to put some tape at the end of the sticks. If you have watched all my prior packaging videos, y'all know I love to bubble wrap. I just always feel more secured when I bubble wrap. Now, I don't think I have ever seen someone bubble wrap them, but y'all already know I'm so extra. All right. And this box is from the post office. Those are the measurements for that one. If you haven't watched my video, you get free boxes from the post office. Go ahead and watch that video. So that's the size for that one. And I'm just going to place my topper in here. Now I recommend shipping them in a box and not an envelope. I'm going to put my thank you card, my business card, and a quote. Again, this part is also extra, but this is the usual way that I package all my items. I got these stickers from Amazon. Do not crush, bend, or fold. But if you have a thermal printer, you can print them at home. Comment down below if you want me to show you how to print them. If you have a Rollo printer, I have a Rollo, but if you have a regular thermal printer, you can do it as well. Or you don't even need those printers. You can use a regular printer at home. But with the thermal printers, you don't use ink, so you save money on that. And I got this tape from Vista Print, and you can also get it from Sticker Mule. It's water activated. All right, and we're all done. All right, guys, now have a great day. Bye-bye.